Microsoft decided at some point in the last generation to rebuild its gaming division, and from the same period also focused all its planning on the 9th generation and the emerging Xbox Game Pass service. Despite competitors such as Sony and Nintendo, Microsoft needed to take advantage of its strengths, namely wealth and investment power on a massive scale, and this strength point is well used for the Game Pass. Subscription services demand a completely future-concerned approach, as audiences will not be convinced overnight and the content of interest to all gamers will not be added to the service in just 2 or 3 years. Microsoft attracted a lot of attention by buying Activision Blizzard and Bethesda, and unfortunately this attention strangely intensifies the voices of consular fighters and fanboys. We all know that the purchase of Activision Blizzard has not been completed and there is even the possibility of cancellation, but on the other hand, you should know that in the field of content, Bethesda operates independently. A significant portion of Starfield's development did not occur under the auspices of Xbox management, and Redfall is also going through development phases from 2017. Another unlucky Xbox at the beginning of this generation was the exclusive contracts of Bethesda and PlayStation, which made Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop titles out of reach of Xbox holders. Even Obsidian's studio had a contract with Private Division when it joined Microsoft over the game The Outer World. And a considerable time after Microsoft purchased Obsidian, we were still waiting for them to complete the development of a third-party title. But Double Fine, during this time, completed Psychonauts 2, and Ninja Theory also increased its ambition. Considerable time is needed to roll the Xbox in the field of providing a varied and high-quality lineup. But Microsoft's not ideal performance in the 8th generation makes many can't give them this time. In any case, it doesn't matter what PlayStation fans or even Xbox fans say. The capital that Microsoft injects and the amount of resistance they have against seasonal Game Pass losses easily advances them to forget about the titles and gamers these days. If the 8th generation of Xbox is forgotten, and now we see many gamers returning to the platform, so don't doubt that 2022 will be forgotten too. The only condition is to present high-quality and varied titles on the way. The unveiling of a small game or remaster Calcione next month, and it's planning to debut in the fall season, could calm conditions, although it certainly won't be a title in the sizes of Starfield or Redfall into the fall. It seems unlikely that in the current situation and with the passage of the Corona season, none of Microsoft's studios will be able to prepare their big game early, let alone some of them will be delayed until 2024. The rush to do projects also can't make the situation any better, and Xbox fans don't want that. Currently, Xbox is tasked with presenting high-quality works among its various titles that have the ability to compete with PlayStation exclusives. This will only happen at a cost and giving builders enough time. Xbox unveiled many games for the 9th generation, but many were not ready to be introduced. However, Microsoft was forced to unveil Fable, Hellblade and State of Decay 3 due to the lack of events and bringing up its name in various media. For a growing company whose biggest preoccupation is the present, such an approach is not unreasonable. But once their plans are right, they should avoid such an approach. Recently, various reports and statements have been heard around the inappropriate management of some Xbox studios. Members of the Undead Lab studio have talked of coercion around early unveiling, difficulties determining approach and the lengthening of the pre-production phase. The Initiative studio was initially exaggeratedly praised and outlined ambitious goals, but is now grappling with the difficulty of leaving senior forces and management barriers, and it is said that Microsoft should interfere more in matters. On the other hand, after a long-term development, the Everwild project has also been rebooted. Since the reports mentioned are shared by reputable sources and directly from the creators, it is unlikely that there was a mistake. However, if these news are false, Microsoft should clarify, and if they are correct, a full-fledged remake around the studios is necessary. Although Xbox was not a suitable exclusive for the start of the generation and unfortunately Halo Infinite was also delayed, it was able to better raise itself with its proper lineup over the months, although backwards functionality was also helping them. With the news of the purchase of Bethesda and the release of Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite, Xbox was able to pull itself higher than the 8th generation, and finally the purchase of Activision Blizzard proved their commitment to Game Pass and presence in gaming. This chain of events was supposed to continue with the release of Stalker 2, then Redfall and finally Starfield, but unfortunately there was a significant gap in their plans. Next month it will be seen whether Xbox can provide a collection or small game to make the conditions more favorable in the second half. Microsoft needs to do what big publishers have failed to do, and that is to take advantage of idea studios, teams that are not expected to develop costly projects focused on technical quality. creating a mental background around the fact that Compulsion Games, Obsidian, Rare, Insile and Double Fine Studios can do small projects with high risks can be very profitable for Microsoft. Successful and profitable projects, such as Among Us, are not produced by 1,000-person teams, but can earn beyond that. Microsoft has such creative teams, but it must assure them that failure in multiple projects does not mean a greedy look, and it should also keep them away from making splendid titles and expect other. Apart from these two, the focus of these works should go from narrative to gameplay and elements that can keep a group entertained together. Up to this point, a work like Sea of Thieves has approached this kind of approach, but a project is not enough. Despite a wide variety of studios that have different scales and goals, as well as having a variety-seeking service such as Game Pass, Microsoft can't just have one type of look at content and should try to advance a multi-dimensional business. Studios should be categorized and treated according to structure and expectations. Xbox fans have the right to be angry about game delays and raise concerns about studio management, but knowing the factors involved in the 2022 game drought for Xbox is not a blessing. Xbox needs a detailed plan and sharing it with fans, and more than it's going to its studios and publishers, it should be afraid to manage them, a fear that can be overcome with a double effort. Starfield and Redfall's delays, along with reports about improper management of some studios, make the path to success more uneven. But from the vision of fairness, it's not the end. Gamers need to keep calm.